Hey guys, Sword here, back again with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Masterverse Masters of the Universe Revelation Roboto. Not to be confused with the classic 1980s smash hit by the band Styx, with the same name of course. That said, Mr. Roboto here is brought to us by the fine folks over at, say it with me now, Mattel. And while this might not be a Masters of the Universe Origins review, it is still a Masters of the Universe review brought to us by the fine folks over at Mattel. So, we're going to keep doing the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson thing until the cows come home, because last I checked, this is my channel, and I can do whatever the Sam heck I want. So, with all that being said, let's cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review. Take a look at Roboto's accessories here, starting off with the Swords of Power, which, if you remember the Masters of the Universe Revelation series, which, yeah, it's definitely been a while, hasn't it? About 2 years? A little over 2 years? Shoot, part 2 came out almost 2 years ago at this point. So, yeah, it's definitely been a while. But Roboto was the one who forged these two swords together, and in doing so, killed himself. So, I guess spoiler alert for a 2-year-old show, but that was very sad to see my boy Roboto here bite the dust, because along with Mossman, he is my favorite heroic warrior, and yeah, Mossman bit the dust too, didn't he? So, not looking good for your boy's favorite heroic warriors. Or really evil warriors, because Scareglow got cucked out too, didn't he? You know, I'm starting to wonder why I like that show so much. All my favorite characters got totally 110% punked out, and I'm not okay with that. Whatever. It was still well written, but can Scareglow have his due? Like, seriously? That said, Roboto does come with 2 different arm attachments. This one, I don't know what it is. I have no idea what this is. And then he's, of course, got the cannon to fight off evil zombies with, like he did in the series. I will tell you, though, these things are kind of a pain in the butt to get on his arm. So if we take a closer look at Roboto here, his lower arm on this side is what pops off. Maybe I can get it off, maybe I can't. But I'm going to try and do my due diligence and try. But the problem is, okay, you're going to pop the hand off almost every time you do it. So you got to get it at a right angle here and rip the thing off. So, yeah, it takes a lot of man strength to do that, which is something I don't really have. I mean, look at my wrists. I am Scareglow. Like, what do you want from me? But, there is his lower arm there. Setting that off to the side. We will put in this thingy first. Of course, I'm doing all this behind camera. Just because it's a little easier for me to get traction on these things. There we go. Whew, I'm going to break a sweat during this video, which is good because it's freaking ice cold. Just like that Rainbow song after they kicked out Dio because Richie Blackmore's an a-hole. But there you go. There's that thing. I don't know what that is. But I will tell you, the other arm attachments, they don't really, like, fit on nice and snug. This one's a little better than the gun, but I will tell you, these arm attachments, they could be a little better as far as fitting on the actual arm goes. So we're going to take his gun here. Put that on now. You know, in hindsight, probably would have been smarter to heat these up before I turned the camera on, but you know, a lesson lived is a lesson learned, right? There he is with his gun. So you can't say I didn't put him on, alright? All you cotton-headed ninny-muggins out there in my comments section, which there isn't any of you, I love you guys, but I'm sure somebody would have chimed in and been like, hey, quit being such a cuck and swap the arms out. Well, I did, so there you go. That said, I will tell you, the reason I didn't heat these before I filmed this is because this peg is actually not like gummy plastic, it's hard plastic. And this lower arm section here, it looks like an elbow joint. When you look at it from the back, it looks like you can bend this. You can't. This is a rubber piece that has been glued on, like the elbow joint over here has been injection molded. So while it doesn't have a double elbow, it does have this kind of rubber, we'll say for lack of a better term, sock piece that goes over the lower arm. That's why this peg is hard plastic, because it's part of the elbow here. It's not part of the lower arm. So kind of genius in that sense. That way we were able to get a peg that's sturdy, but it is a pain right in the balls to get that thing on and off. So, word to the wise, don't break your toys, but I don't think you really got to worry about it too much. But you do have to have the strength of He-Man himself to swap that out. But there you go. Hopefully this video doesn't drag out too long because of that, though. But looking at Roboto here, he looks awesome. I love the way this guy looks. Is he one of my favorite Masterverse of the year? Maybe. He is one of my favorite... almost said evil warriors, heroic warriors, but I'm not sure. I'm thinking about that. That said, he does have the same legs as Trapjaw, our good buddy Trapjaw from Ye Olde Evil Technicult. But as far as articulation goes on this guy, he does have the ball joint in the head. He can look up pretty good, look down, tilt side to side a little bit. It does have that shift there and rotation. That said, he does also have a hinged jaw, so he can talk to you and be all, I feel emotions, I'm scared, dead. That's still sad. That said, a side note, Roboto here was voiced by the same gentleman who voiced Kevin Murphy on another Netflix show I thoroughly enjoyed, F is for Family, which, like Masters of the Universe Revelation, had its super depressing dark moments, but it was freaking hilarious and kind of worth sitting through those to get to those parts. So I highly suggest you check that out if you haven't yet. That said, his shoulders do go out to the side, back down. They do rotate a full 360. He does have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow on this side, single on this side, but you do get about 90 degrees out of it, so you know, nothing to scoff at there. He does have a swivel in the wrist with a hinge on both sides. You can't pop the hands out, but he doesn't come with any extra hands, at least not that I noticed. He does have a rotation in the waist, which, as you can see, rotating his waist all the way around. There's nothing going on in that torso. I guess in the series they changed it to kind of this spring pump generator thing instead of the gears because it was easier to animate, which I can respect that, you know. Being a fan of Gargoyles, I tell you, Season 2 had some pretty janky animation points that mostly due to the design of the characters. So, you know, I'm okay with that. I think that's cool. That's a nice update. I'm trying to think if 2000X had the gears or if that had like a pump thing. I know the toy had the gears, but I don't remember the show. That said, that is the most awesome Roboto. He's got the big, clunky Mega Man boots and the really cool, giant pincer claw titty twister of death, and he played chess. Do all the Robotos play chess? I don't know. That said, his hips are fairly limited. Maybe if you do this, nah, they're fairly limited. You can't really kick forward at like a 90-degree angle unless you move the leg out a little bit, and even then you get a little better than 45, so that kind of stinks. But he does not have like the rubber loincloth to flex and stuff and get out of the way, so that's probably why that is. He does get almost a perfect split though, with no drop down hip, might I add. He's got a thigh cut. He's got double knee. That works pretty well. It is pretty tight on this side though. There. So you can get that going. I will say I did have to chip some flashing off the back of this leg. It feels like there's still a little bit there that's probably causing that tightness, but I can fix that later. He does have a swivel in the boot. You can't really get 360 out of it though because of big honking knee pad. Maybe if I... Yeah, you can get more if you bend it. So you do get decent range out of that as long as you bend the lower leg. And then he does have a hinge in the foot with an ankle rocker and peg holes at the bottom of the feet for a display stand if you got one. I always say the McFarlane stands work pretty well with these guys. And other than the legs, this guy appears to be all new parts. I think the hands are new. The arms are obviously new because they have these bolts on the side and on the front and back. Let me check. Oh, Trapjaw, he's sitting here. No, he's using the Triclops arms. So, yeah, he's new from, I think, the crotch up. I think Trapjaw just had the regular waist because I think he had the loincloth still. So, really cool figure. Has a presence on the shelf. He looks really, really nice. And, like a lot of these Masterverse figures I'm going to be taking a look at, could not find him in the store. Which sucks, because, you know, I like to support my local stores, because a lot of the people that work there are actually cool with finding me stuff in the back and whatnot, but, you know, it's hard to do that when they don't have the product on the shelf or even in the back, or just available to buy. So I've been buying a lot of stuff online lately, and it just seems to be the way of the future, you know? I used to love going to the store and buying Ben 10 action figures back in the day, but them days are long gone, son. So with all that being said, that's a bit depressing, isn't it? Let's now move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Roboto alongside his master and creator and father, question mark. I was wondering about that. Good old Duncan, aka Man-at-Arms. This is, of course, the deluxe Man-at-Arms that was, I think, a Target exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. He came out earlier this year, I think around springtime, right? And, of course, this is the way Man-at-Arms looked after the time jump in the Masters of the Universe Revelation series, so that's why I have this one out instead of the first one in the classic green and orange armor. And then, just because we brought him up, we also have Trapjaw in his Technicult attire, courtesy of Ross Pay for Less, Dress for Less, whatever it's called. I don't have a Ross up here, okay, so I don't know the freaking slogan, but since he and Roboto share some parts, I figured he was a good candidate for comparison here. And hot take, I would have rather have seen Roboto get corrupted by the motherboard and join the Technicult and become a bad guy other than just, you know, dying. I think that would have been a cooler fate. And then they had to switch him back to being a good guy just to see if they could undo the effects of the Technicult virus. So, yeah, hot take. Let me know what you guys think of that. I know the Revelation series was not popular with a lot of folks, but getting those two out of the way here. This Man-at-Arms is a sick figure, by the way. I got to review him at some point. Not sure when that'll happen, though. This, of course, would not be Overlord Productions video, however, without bringing in Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith and the infamous 11 Spawn, who were kind of tangled on each other just now, so I had to separate them apart if you heard all the commotion behind camera there. But since Roboto is not 5.5 inch scale, he stands pretty much neck and neck with Mythic Legions and McFarlane stuff. So if you wanted to mix them into those lines, you probably could, right? That said, I wonder what Four Horsemen will do with Roboto here as far as like an homage goes, because I know they're doing the Cosmic Legions now. So I'm very curious to see what they can do with that. So with all that being said, it's time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, while I do understand that the Masters of the Universe Revelation series isn't everyone's favorite rendition of the franchise, I still thoroughly enjoy it to this day, and this figure of good old Roboto from that particular series, in my opinion, is one of the better releases from the Masterverse line this past year anyways. I know we've gotten better figures since this guy, and even before him. I mean, seriously, Too Bad, Beastman, New Eternia, oof, that's all I gotta say about that. But aside from the limited leg articulation, particularly in the hips and the fact that the arm attachments are just kind of a bitch to swap on, I really don't have that many issues with this figure, other than, yeah, it would have been nice to get some alternate hands, but I think you get enough accessories in the box to warrant the price point. That said, one thing I neglected to mention about the two swords he came with is that they originally came with King Grayskull, the deluxe release from last year, which was another solid figure from the Revelation subline. And I also neglected to mention that in the series, the Subternia half of the Power Sword glowed purple, not yellow. So I would have much rather have gotten that instead of both of them glowing yellow, but you know what? At the end of the day, I might not even use them anyways, so it really doesn't matter to me. It's just extra stuff in the box as far as I'm concerned, but that is an inaccuracy that at this point kind of can't be justified, because it's been, again, almost 2 years since the show came out, at least as the time I'm posting this video. I know this guy came out earlier this year, but what do you want for free, right? So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.